Hey, hi all, welcome to Cupcakes Comic Book Reviews. Today we're going to pick up a new book which in town. It's a single issue. We've not done this before, but it's an interesting one and we're going to make it nice
He's
for
got
you.
it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're
Chicken
going to
Devil.
review and say, or Paltry Lucifer, as you so eloquently put it in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, I
So that
was
was
running out
my
of those
favorite.
quick.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chicken Devil, issue 1. This is the first Aftershock book that I've read. I don't know about you guys. First Aftershock book that I read, and I'm absolutely going to judge the entire publishing company based on this one issue. So, have you guys read any other Aftershock books yet?
I've seen the name before, but
I
I
don't get
can't
Aftershock.
pinpoint one that I've read. No, but I
Right.
do
Don't
know of
get
Aftershock.
Yeah. I can get Aftershock because it's not translated it into German. So getting Aftershock books in Germany is quite hard. So
Yeah.
I only get like digital copies, and I think this is the first thing from Aftershock even I've read.
Okay. Well,
I've read I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like Campusy, the dragon encounter. No, the dragon incident. I read that a couple weeks ago. That was like an issue 1. That was my first issue of Aftershock. This is my second.
Okay, interesting.
well, Chicken Devil is written by Brian Buccellato. I had to look up how to say his name. I watched the YouTube video yesterday where he was in an interview. I was like, how the fuck do you pronounce this guy's name? And I thought that I wasn't familiar with him. And then I looked up some of the stuff that he did. And he's done work on Flash and Detective Comics and Witchblade and Darkness and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I recognize his name from Injustice.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's done.
Yeah.
He wrote Injustice after
Tom
Tom
Taylor.
Taylor left the book, which is like
Mhm.
infamously regarded as not so great. I still liked it a lot though. Like it wasn't as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you could
He's
tell
no
that the writing
killer, but, like,
changed,
I
but
liked
I
it.
liked it a lot. I continue to
I-
like it. The idea
I
of
love-
Injustice kind of wore thin for me after like 5 years worth of content for it.
Yeah.
I
Thing
kind
is,
of
yeah.
fallen off.
That's a
Yeah.
long time to
Yes.
write a
Yeah.
title. Like you've got a story. You've got to meet that, and it's 5 years of content.
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. And the artist is Hayden Sherman, who I've never heard of. But apparently he hasn't been around that long. I think I looked it up. His debut book was with Image in 2017. It's called The Few. And I've heard of it, but I didn't read it yet. He
Yeah.
apparently did some work on Old Man Logan in 2016, and then he also did another Aftershock book called Cold War. I haven't read any of them, but that's what he's
Same.
done for those people that know those things. And apparently this book is considered a comedy, which I found it funny, but I was very surprised to see it labeled as a comedy.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it was a comedy until after I had read it and like looked up, did a little bit of research and saw an interview with the creator and he was like, "Yeah, it's kind of a comedy crime drama story." And I was like, "Well, I didn't there was like this one point that was kind of slapstick funny that I don't want to spoil anything yet, but it also didn't like
Right.
still it reinforced the idea that it was a comedy. It was much more of a crime drama than it was a comedy."
Yeah. So my first question before we dive into the book was going to be, did you guys get anything else on Wednesday? Because this book just came out. Did you grab anything else from your pull list that you remember if you went to the LCS, if you bought something digitally, whatever it was?
Yeah, I had a couple of issues of the Walking Dead color deluxe sitting in my account, and a couple
Nice.
issues of Batman too, but nothing else. I kind of went in specifically to pick this up.
Yeah. This was I bought it digitally, so this was the only thing that I got. You got Spider-Man, which I know you
And
haven't.
Power Rangers. Yeah, I'm
Right.
dropping that.
You're dropping Spider-Man. You're over it.
Yeah. I gave a new creative team a try, and yeah.
It's funny how we were talking about the Spider-Man game in the chat because Spider-Man has had an amazing video game. His movies are consistently good, but his comic book has just consistently been awful for the
That's
last. I
because
don't
of
know
Nick
how long.
Spencer's run. I think before Nick
Yeah.
Spencer, his comics were decent. That's just this Nick
I-
Spencer run which is ended now. But
Honestly,
if you
I don't want to go offshoot, but I could easily do a whole video about where Spider-Man's went wrong. Honestly, it pains me. The thing is, it's funny you should.
At some point.
But Connor, if you read like Chip Zdarsky Spider-Man, Non-Stop Spider-Man, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
If you read Tom Taylor Spider-Man in Dark Ages, which is the book which I picked up this Wednesday, pretty good. Again, Spider-Man has been done like really great there. So the only person who screwed up Spider-Man is Nick Spencer. And everybody knows it. Even Marvel knows it.
The thing is that it's funny you should say, like, bring up the game. I'll just say this quickly, that you bring up the game, Hess, because the game, and it's a spoiler, so I won't say, it does something that I feel holds back Peter in the comics, and I don't know if Marvel's too scared to move on or whatever, but everything that's an offshoot of the main title takes chances with him, and it always works. But the main title never does, and I feel that's one of the reasons it never works.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about Chicken Devil.
Yeah, we are getting way off topic.
It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think?
I loved it. It's right up my alley. I really like crime stories like Ed Brubaker's work and Darwin Cook's Parker. And my initial thing that stood out to me was normally like the crime books that I read are from like a bad guy's standpoint kind of thing. Like you're on the criminal side, they're the protagonist of the story. But without spoiling anything yet, like Mitch was not that character at all that is normally thrown into a crime story, which it was very Walter White of him from Breaking Bad is a good comparison.
Yeah, I know they make a Breaking Bad reference in the book.
Yes, they do.
Which I guess is kind of self-aware, because I do think that the Breaking Bad comparison is very apt.
Yeah, especially the whole Los Polos in the chicken restaurant thing, right? Like that's a directly lifted out of Breaking Bad.
Absolutely. But I wanted to, this is more of an origin story, like let's say issue 1. I wanted to see more of him in the Chicken Devil persona, you know, what he does as Chicken Devil. So we're still not there yet, but okay. I mean, I don't know if it's spoiler territory, but then this is more of an origin issue. I kind of enjoyed it. I did not know it was a comedy book going in, because I knew that there was a little 50 Shades of Grey between comedy and, drama in this one. I kind of enjoyed it. It was good, but I want to see where it goes. Like for example, Connor and I were reading Noctera, and issue 1 of Noctera was fantastic. But then after a few issues in, like, you felt out it went a little bit downhill. So I want to see where this thing goes. Like after issue 5 and all, like my thoughts would be more prevalent. Those would be my thoughts.
Yeah, this is kind of just like a quick, like, hot take. Like, this is issue 1. What do we expect? What did you think?
Exactly.
I'm probably more in line with Lohit. Like, I thought it was okay. I think we're 4 for 4 in that after I read it, I found out it was a comedy, and I did not get that when I read the book at all. I don't think I laughed, to be honest.
Really?
I don't think I laughed at all. I liked it. I wouldn't say I love it. I think it's definitely one I need to see where it goes. It's definitely like a second, like issue 2 is a definite pickup, but I think it's still early days. The character, I would have liked to see a bit more. It's a really fast-paced first issue.
Yeah.
And I think it gives you bang for your buck. There's a lot of content in there, and the art is sublime. How it conveys like emotions and movement, and like the scene involving a gang and how they enter like a area. It's really well done. But yeah, story-wise, I think it's early days. The promo of Chicken Devil, like the actual picture, I did not expect the book I got from what the picture was. I thought it was going to be completely different.
I really did not know what to expect going into it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he was going to be like full costume the whole issue or what. Like, I didn't know what was going on. But I loved it, honestly. Like, I blind bought it almost like as a meme. Like, I thought the title was ridiculous, and we just kind of all talked each other into it.
And I'm gonna show it again because the cover is absolutely fantastic. Like, what a great cover, right?
It's good.
Like,
it's good.
Well, I mean, it stands out, does it? The fact we're doing this video meant it stood out. It did its job, which is what you want.
That's true. It's absolutely true. But I liked it, and I read that it was a comedy, before I finished the entire issue. Just because, like I said, I was writing notes, doing whatever in preparation for this. Like I literally just finished it like 10 minutes before we started this, so it's still like super fresh in my head. I thought it was absolutely bonkers, and I can't wait for the second issue. I thought that the $4.99 price tag on it was gonna kind of make me question it moving forward, but it was so good. Yeah, getting a lot of Breaking Bad vibes. I actually did laugh at it. I know you said that you didn't, Connor. There was one moment, and I guess I can touch on it later, but I actually laughed out loud, and I was just like, damn, like, has a comic made me do this before?
Mhm.
But, yeah. And the art, it's not my thing, but it, like how you said, it does its job, like, really well. Like, it conveys what it wants to, and it's very, like, different and creative. The way that like they show emotions, all that. I agree. I think it did its job very well, even though it's not necessarily my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. I think the cool thing about this sort of team is that you can tell that they blend well with each other, they work well with each other, and the thing is you know, if an artist isn't for you, and that happens a lot because obviously there's a lot of artists. If the creative team are working well with each other, that you can almost get past like art you're not used to because it's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
you
know? I felt that way about God Country as well. Donny Cates' God Country. I forget who did the art.
Jeff Shaw.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I really liked the art because I think it fit the book, but typically, like, that's not the kind of art that I enjoy either. But when it fits the story well, just like, you know, Paltry Lucifer, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
The thing is, I agree with you as well because it's not the sort of art I normally would go for. But it did a really good job of, you know, building the world and stuff.
I agree. And I think we've discussed it as vaguely enough as possible without getting full-blown spoiler territory now. So this is the warning. But yeah, what do you expect? Like, where do you think the series is going to go? Do you think he's going to go full-blown like Walter White potentially?
Well, it's kind of like a revenge crime story kind of dynamic to it, right? Like, can I spoil it? Can I say what happens?
Yeah, I already
At this point,
warning.
yeah, okay, yeah. So the Russian mob kills his family after they're going after the money that his business partner stole from them through the drug laundering that he was supposed to be doing through the restaurant. Like the whole thing is ridiculous. And that's clearly what broke this man, right? So that's what this whole issue was about, was like the point that makes him snap, and then we see it at the end. Yeah. And just as he's about to get himself killed, the guy slips on a banana peel and shoots himself in the head. And like, that's the part that I laughed at. And I don't know, Dan, if that's the part that you laughed at that you were talking about.
It wasn't. There was some dialogue. But yeah, I could not believe that. Both the boat exploding, I almost think I might have actually gasped. Because I was just like, no fucking way, like, oh my god, like, this dude, what? Like, is insane. And then I had a similar reaction with the dude shooting himself in the fucking chin after slipping on a wet floor in a fucking gym locker.
See, when you say it aloud, it is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, people died. It's not funny. I mean, his family died. Poor guy is like, you know.
Oh, that part's not funny. But the part where the dude flips on his own shit and kills himself.
That was a bit funny.
Like there's a little bit of a slapstick comedy vibe at the end there, right? When he slips and shoots himself, like that's very like Three Stooges almost.
That's the thing. Like I definitely gasped. Like the 2 points, like the yacht blowing up, and the end with the guy shooting himself in the head. I wouldn't say I laughed, but I was like, like I didn't expect it, you know.
Me neither. I was like, holy shit, like, where does it go from here? Like, I didn't realize that I was at the end of the book because I read it digitally. So I thought that there was going to be like a reaction or like the guy working at the gym coming in being like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? And nope, he kills himself. End of the issue. It was insane. I don't know. Did you guys read the Hot Chicken blurb that was at the end of the book, I didn't. I was trying to
No.
save as much time to get to the Zoom as possible.
No,
I might
no.
go back and
I'll admit that I
about it.
didn't. I was looking at kind of the menu that's of like the different menu pages that they had for the restaurant, but no, I didn't really
Oh,
read
I didn't
the
even get
extras.
that far.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, no, I want to check that out.
Yeah, it was cool.
But
The funny thing is about the book is like this is kind of a weird offshoot, but when I was reading it, I was thinking about like how in classic characters, like there's always this narrative with Daredevil and Batman where it's like you're one bad day away from they're one bad day away from being their villain. Reading this, I felt like this was this guy's one bad day.
This is his bad day.
That would lead to him being insane. By the end of it, I thought, okay, issue 2, he's clearly going to be nuts. Like, he has to be. Everything that's taking place in that first issue.
And the way that he looked when he was, like, in the holding cell or, like, interrogation room or whatever it was, and, like, oh, he's in shock. Like, the way the tears were, like, just, and his eyes were just wide open. You couldn't even see his eyelids. I was just like, damn, like, this man's really going through it right now.
And Book did a very good job of just showing that, like, how much difficulty he was having processing everything. And even when he freaked out at his business partner, right? Like, the whole thing was awesome. Like, it was just so well done. Like, I really have to give it credit. It was very well written.
And how he couldn't even bring himself to go home after, so he, like, slept in the van with the chicken costume.
Yeah.
Like, it's just registering to me now. It's like, damn. He couldn't bring himself to go home.
Yeah, all the PTSD that he was going through from it, right? Like, it's
what I quite liked was the panels with when he's in the interrogation room, and then the panel where he's in the car and he's like thinking of all his thoughts, like of his family. I really liked. They were both really close panels, so like it kind of felt claustrophobic, like he couldn't get away from his feelings, or like when he's in the interrogation room and he's kind of teary-eyed. It was. The angle made him look like he was overwhelming the panel, which kind of made it kind of helped the emotion. It made you kind of overwhelmed on the page. So it was really
I think there's like layers to the art. How you said how well it conveyed everything. I think that we could go back and like reread it once or twice and pick up on even more. I really think that the art did that good of a job expressing everything that Buccellato wanted us to know. I think it was killer. And like I said, I thought the book was really funny. Even not so much when it shouldn't have been, but my favorite part, the dialogue that was my favorite, was when the guy got the gun like in his face, and he's like, "Remember my name. It's gonna be the last thing you see before you die."
That was
and he's like, "Are you gonna write it down and show it to me?" Like that's my kind of humor. That stupid sarcasm.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That part was very funny.
Yeah.
But where do you think this is going to go next? Like, is it going to be like a Frank Castle thingy where is it a limited series first of all, or is it an ongoing? Because if it's an ongoing, I don't know what.
That's what I'm wondering.
That's a good question. And I forgot. That was the one thing that I forgot to look up before we did this. I want to say it might actually be a limited series, but I can't remember, and I don't want to say like one way or the other.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys caught it this morning, but Ben and I were talking in the chat about it, and kind of both agreed that stories like this tend to work better as a mini-series or a limited series and not a monthly ongoing that runs indefinitely. But I really don't know. I didn't know what to expect going into this, so I don't know what to expect coming out of it either.
I think with something like that, it's like, where do you go? Like, I'm sure he's got 4 to 10 issues or whatever in his mind, but like after that is like, where does this character go from here in a way that makes sense and in a way that's equally as compelling as the first few issues of the book?
Yeah. And realistically, like anybody who would go through losing their family like that just does not recover ever in their life. So I guess it just depends on how long or how far along the writer has this guy's life planned, I guess.
Well, I noticed there was a lot of dialogue with in the prison in regards to having nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like this is a blaze of glory sort of situation where it's going to be non-stop. And
you could be onto something with that. That could be kind of like a foreshadowing type of thing. Because a lot of times when you see like, oh, they got nothing to lose, like that, more often than not, the character is probably going to die.
Yeah, they really emphasize that in prison.
And
That-
that's going to
that
happen
line.
because he's not trained with weapons or anything. He doesn't have any skills. He makes chicken for a living. For
I
crazy.
mean,
So
you don't
yeah,
know
he's
that
not.
unless in the next issue we find out he was some sort of special ops guy 15 years ago, but
Absolutely.
he wanted to settle
Yeah.
down and sell some hot chicken.
Yeah, probably.
I'd just like to point out that as this first issue was so crazy that could be the case.
Yeah.
Right. There's so many ways that it can go, and I feel like that's the best part about discussing in issue 1. It's just like where does this
Yeah.
go? What?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a
100%,
fucking
I don't-
alien
I-
invasion next. Maybe this is only the second worst day
All
of
right,
his
well,
life.
I hope it doesn't go that way.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I have a theory though. I think he's gonna become like the head of the mob or something. He'll probably shoot a bunch of people and then he'll
Work
climb
his
on
way
top
up.
and work his way up and then become like a mobster or something. So
I was just
that's
about to say-
one of them.
Or he's the
I
new
was just about to
Punisher
say-
type character.
Frank Castle. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, I honestly can't see it being an ongoing. It feels like the sort of series that would be like a mini series. But Lohit, you've just sold me on an ongoing. Like, if he's working his way
I
up,
mean,
I'll follow this to the end.
Yeah.
I do think that if it's an ongoing, that might be the best angle
Yeah.
because there's so many ways you can go with it from there. But
Mhm.
I don't know. After he deals, like if he's not going to become some mob leader, I think after he deals with these gang members, then that should be it. Whether he dies, they die, everyone dies, whatever.
I think killing the family is kind of a mission statement in the sense that there's not much the character can go back to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
got nothing
you've built
to
him
lose.
up as a family man. You know,
Yeah.
like not obviously he seemed a bit disillusioned by it, but he's afterwards
Right.
he clearly stated that he loved the family and obviously he's
Yeah.
gonna miss them. So
Yeah.
I think that by taking them out so early on, that's a mission statement in itself that like again, this is like a blaze of glory, it's his kind of final hurrah.
Yeah. Well, I
Do
think
you think that the family's alive?
No.
Oh, that would be
I
a
had that
twist.
thought.
I
I had
really
that thought in my mind.
it would be a major plot twist. I really hope that that's not the case because it kind of takes away from the emotion of that
That's
event.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
And also, it would kind of feel like an ass pull a little bit. It's just like, oh, okay, I guess you changed your mind. You didn't actually want them to die. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't think it's that
Yeah.
kind of story. I think it's a little more grounded in realism.
None of us
than
want a
that.
happy ending for Chicken Devil, basically.
No.
We want
It's
it
not
to
like I
be
don't
dark.
want a good ending, but honestly, like, if we were taking bets right now, I would put money on him dying.
Yeah, he could get himself
I
killed
think-
by the end of this. We don't know. He came
I
close.
think Hess, like I agree with you in saying that like it's not that sort of comic. I think if the explosion had happened and the guy at the end hadn't shot himself, I would have been like maybe. But the guy shooting himself at the end, again, it's almost like another mission statement where it's like this is what this book's gonna be like.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and with those sort of stakes where people are just shooting themselves, I can't imagine the family would still be alive. Saying that though, when we're here reviewing issue 12 and Lohit's proven right,
But also, too, actually, for that matter, now that I think of it, that guy who came in to get the drugs out of the locker and saw Mitch there and ended up shooting himself, he probably didn't come there alone either. So there's probably a couple more guys right behind him, or a getaway car
True.
or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
I really hope that the next issue picks up right where this one left off, and that it doesn't like skip
Yeah.
ahead a couple days or weeks or something like that. Like, I want this whole story to just keep going start to finish like it is.
I agree. It would be so cool if it basically was just like if this book was 6 more pages, then like issue 2 starts with whatever the next panel was going to be.
Yeah.
What's the bets on the receptionist living? The receptionist he walks past in the mask.
Yeah, a lot of people are dying in this book, so
Because I was
Right.
like,
And it's
waiting
not the
for
throwaway
him to
trick
pop
that's
through.
gonna die.
yeah.
Who do you think is the next person to die? Because my money's on the best friend, the guy who stood up. Like, I think he's going to die.
I don't think he's going to die just yet. I think he probably will. I
Yeah.
think that in some way, shape, or form, he's going to be like ended up being used as like leverage against like Mitch or something.
did they touch much on the relationship between Mitch and his business partner? I can't even remember the guy's name, but like, were they
No,
strictly just business
was
partners, or
Antonio.
were they friends before that or anything?
They didn't really touch on that. business partners. I mean, the way they talk to each other made me think that like they have some level of respect for each other. Like I don't know if they're straight up friends
Yeah, like they
or
could just be
not, but
longtime business partners who met like 15 years ago when the business started or something and didn't know
right.
each other before.
Because the way that he talked to him, he's like, "Oh, your fryers suck," and it's like, "No, you fucking suck," and like you don't just tell that to anybody.
Yeah, yeah, like they
So
have to have
like
been working together for a
in
long
business,
time.
yeah.
They, his business partner was introduced quite snivelly. You know, like he's quite wormy. So I can't imagine he died too soon. He's the sort of character that normally sticks around
Yeah,
right until the end and does a bunch of things you really hate.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, those snake type characters, I feel like are only there to piss you off.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
then again, this book is so nuts he could die in the next panel.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
But that would mean that we will get a lot more new characters because we're only left with one guy, like whom I know, like Mitch, basically. I don't even know the Russian mobster's name.
Yeah.
I don't have any other characters other than the best friend and Mitch who I relate to. So that means they're going to toss up a lot more new characters, new relationships and all. Maybe a love interest. I don't know how it works. But do you think? Because otherwise, how does the book work?
I hope that they don't go the love interest angle, or at least not too soon. Like if it's an ongoing, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But if it's like a mini or like a maxi, I don't really want to see a love interest.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
I mean, he just lost his wife too. Like, I can't see him just jumping into another relationship
Exactly.
so
It
soon
doesn't
after
make
that
sense.
either, right?
Not issue 2, but maybe issue 15 or 16.
Yeah,
or
if we get to
something
like
that.
issue
Well,
80.
right. So like I said, like if it's an ongoing, then sure. But if it's like a 12 issue maxi series or something, I don't think there's enough time for them to develop a love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I
think
think
they'll
by
go
the
the
end of
route
the
where he
series-
adopts somebody? Do you think they'll go the route where he adopts a kid or something and makes him like Chick Devil and then they go fight crime? And there's a chicken
Devil.
signal in the night. I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's how it ends. Maybe
Chicken
he
signal.
gets an apprentice and it ends with
And that's the
like,
thing. We don't know where
yeah,
the
we don't know
series
what's
is
gonna
gonna
happen.
go.
No, I
Yeah,
can't
we
even
have no
speculate
clue.
on that.
This first issue was so bonkers that it could go in any direction.
I mean, surely there has to be a panel where he's in some sort of ridiculous, like, takeaway delivery vehicle being chased by thousands of cop cars. You know?
I mean, how do you say that? I want that.
And the chicken
Yeah,
wing.
I know.
Chicken wing.
Chicken
Yeah,
wing.
you know, like
The feathers just flying all over the place.
yeah, the roof window opens and he's too big and his head's sticking out of it or something.
And he goes like, cluck, cluck, I'm vengeance.
So something that I kind of wanted to touch on, this Chicken Devil reminded me a lot of another book. Oh man, my camera's blurry again. It reminded me of another book that I had read a long time ago called Dead Body Road, and I've got it right here. Let's see if I can fix my camera at the same time here. It's by Justin Jordan and Matteo Scalera. Beautiful artwork, but it's the same kind of idea. A guy loses his family to a mob and goes on a crime spree basically to figure out what had happened. But if you're into this kind of story, like I really do recommend it. It's one of my favorite books that I've read, and it's one that a lot of people don't hear about.
Is it a comedy, Hess?
It's not a comedy at all. No, it's not a comedy.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is a pretty good stopping point. We all recommend the book to this point, right? I think we're all unanimous on that.
Do we want to give it a score, a number rating from each of us? Do we
I
want to
think
do
we
that?
should.
Should, yeah.
Ooh, okay. I mean, okay. How do you want to do 5 or 10?
Let's do 10.
10.
10.
10. Okay. So how many cupcakes out of 10 do you give it? We'll start with Connor.
Oh God, I'd say 7.5.
Okay. Lohit.
Solid 8 for me.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent.
I'm gonna give it a 9 actually. You know what? Like it wasn't perfect by any means, which is why like I can't go to 9.5 or 10. But I really really did like this book. But the reason that I will give it a 9, and it's not just because it's kind of my own taste in the crime stories that I'm into. I think it was just a really good setup, first issue intro to the character. Like you got his backstory, we got to see what broke this guy, and now none of us know what the hell is gonna happen next. So
But
like.
you're invested to see more. So
Yeah, I
that
want more
works.
of it. Um, and
Absolutely.
also one thing that kind of got me about this first issue too is that the book was oozing in confidence, and it
Yeah.
was largely unknown and hadn't earned any of that confidence at all. But I still want more. Like it was awesome. It was a good book, and
But
it
heck,
knew it was
even
good.
with the title like Chicken Devil, I think that was confidence. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, put a book like Chicken Devil, I would be scared. Like, really, this thing would work
I
as a
mean,
publisher?
yeah.
yeah,
I would be
with a
scared.
name like that, it's got to be good.
So to me, it was firing on all cylinders, except for the comedy thing. It did everything that it set out to do. So I really do got to give it a 9 for that.
So I'm gonna go with the bold take, and I'm gonna give it a 10 for a
Yeah.
lot of the reasons that you said. It hooked me. It's everything a first issue should be. It leaves me with so many questions, but it's also like so entertaining, and I found it funny, and very few comic books do that for me. So I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yeah.
It might be an overreaction, but first issue, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, no, man, I support that 10. I think that's if you want to give it that, then yeah, absolutely, yeah, I would agree with that.
Everyone
I
said
think
their
it
score now,
ignited the
so I'm
passion
sure
enough
everyone would
in
forget
all of us
mine.
to do a Zoom. I think it
All right.
ignited a lot of passion within all of us to do the Zoom. So, yeah, I think it did its job pretty well. So, that's all I'm going to say.
What were you gonna say, Connor?
No, I was just saying I went first, so hopefully everyone will forget my low score now. I was like,
We just
oh,
went
you
like
start with me, I'm gonna give it the lowest.
Well, see, I also didn't touch on the art at all when I was giving it such a glowing review either, and that's another reason that I couldn't really give it a 10 because the art wasn't bad by any means, but it also didn't blow me away either.
Yeah,
It was good. It was good. It was great, and I don't want to knock the artist or anything at all like that, but it did not blow
See,
me away. But I really enjoyed it.
that's interesting because I was flipped like the way you were. The art, I was really astonished by how the art was working, and the script itself, like the dialogue, was the thing that I was kind of sometimes a bit iffy about.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the art didn't work at all either. It just the
No,
whole
I
idea of
it's
the
just
book was the
cool.
strong point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the art excelled in ways that I wasn't expecting. The first couple panels, I was like, man, I don't know about this book, and then it sold me.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Well, it was a good
So
chat, guys.
I think
I'm
we
gonna
can.
end the recording
Yeah, I
right
think we
now.
can call